My name is Amelia Brown, and I have always been called the beautiful Otohan girl. I grew up in a poor house that my late parents left behind, a small mud house at the end of the village. I had no mother, no father, only my faith and my dreams. I told myself every night, Amelia, you will never mess yourself up with any man. You will keep yourself pure until your wedding night. Even when hunger bit me, even when men came with money, I refused. The village women used to laugh at me. Who will marry you if you keep forming holy girl? They mocked. But I didn't care. I believed that one day a rich man, a good man, would find me and love me truly. Then one bright Sunday afternoon, it happened. A man drove into our village in a shiny black car. He was tall, handsome, and spoke gently like rain falling on leaves. His name was Mr. Raymond Smith. He said he was from the city and had come to build a small farm in the village. From that day, our eyes met. He began to visit my small house often, always bringing fruits, food, and gifts. He told me he liked my simplicity and my clean heart. One evening he held my hands and said, Amelia, I want to marry you, but I promise we will never sleep together until our wedding night. My heart jumped with joy. I thought, at last, God has answered my prayer. It was as if he read my mind. Days turned into weeks. He met the village elders. He brought drinks, clothes, money, everything. Everyone started calling me the luckiest girl in Otohan. The wedding day came with songs, drums, and dancing. I wore a white gown that shimmered like moonlight. People said we looked like a royal couple. When I looked at Raymond's eyes, they were calm. Too calm. That night, after everyone left, and it was time to enter our new house as husband and wife, I smiled shyly and sat on the bed, waiting for my husband. But Raymond just stood at the door, staring at me. His face changed, his eyes grew dark. Then he whispered slowly, Amelia, there is something you must never tell anyone. I blinked, confused. He came closer, his voice shaking like someone hiding a secret. I have no manhood. I used it to make money. My whole body froze. I thought I didn't hear him well. He smiled sadly. I gave it to the gods for wealth. But don't cry. You are my wife now, and you can never leave. The lights flickered. I felt cold all over. The night that was supposed to be full of joy turned into a night of tears. I realized too late that my dream of marrying a rich man had turned into a nightmare I could never escape. That night, I could not sleep. I sat on the edge of the bed, shaking like a leaf. The man I called my husband, the man I thought was my blessing, had just told me the darkest secret of my life. He said again, Amelia, I have no manhood. I used it for riches, but you will stay, because in this house, no one leaves alive. My mouth went dry. I wanted to run, but my legs were weak. I felt my heart crying inside me. He walked out of the room and locked the door from outside. I sat there till morning, still wearing my white wedding gown. When I looked in the mirror, I could not recognize myself. My eyes were red, my face was pale. When he came back the next morning, he smiled like nothing happened. He brought me food on a silver tray. I pushed it away. Why did you marry me if you knew you can't touch me? I asked, my voice shaking. He laughed softly. I needed a wife to cover my shame, and the gods said I must marry a pure girl. I froze again. The gods? I asked slowly. He nodded. Yes, the gods who gave me my wealth. They said if I marry a woman who has known a man before, my riches will disappear. That's why I chose you. Tears rolled down my cheeks. So all along, I was not chosen for love. I was chosen for sacrifice. Every day after that, I lived in fear. He would go out early, and I would be alone in that big mansion, alone with strange sounds. Sometimes I heard footsteps at midnight. Sometimes I heard a man crying inside the walls. One night, I heard a woman's voice whispering, "Run before he takes your soul too." I screamed and hid under the blanket. The next morning I asked him, "Raymond, who else lives in this house?" He smiled and said, "No one, my love, only you and me." But I knew that was a lie. At night, I saw shadows moving. Sometimes I saw faces on the mirror that were not mine. One afternoon, while cleaning the guest room, I found a big box under the bed. I opened it slowly. Inside were pictures of women, young, beautiful, and all dressed like brides, and each picture had a red cross drawn over their faces. I dropped the box and screamed. When Raymond came back, I asked, "Who are these women?" He looked at me coldly and said, "They were my wives before you. They tried to run, and the gods punished them." I trembled. "Punish them how?" I asked, my voice shaking. He leaned closer and whispered, "Their souls now serve me. They keep my riches alive." At that moment, thunder struck outside. The lights went off. The house became dark like a grave. I felt a cold wind brush my skin. I ran into the bedroom and locked the door. Then I heard it, a voice, soft but close to my ear. "Amelia, you are next." I screamed and fell to the ground, crying. I prayed and called on God to save me. The night was long. The darkness had eyes, and I knew I was living with a man who was no longer human. Days turned into weeks. I was now a prisoner in my own marriage. Every night I slept with one eye open, afraid of what I might see. I had stopped smiling, stopped eating, stopped being me. One cold night, rain began to fall. Thunder shook the mansion, and the wind howled like spirits outside. I sat on the floor of the bedroom, holding my Bible and crying. Then suddenly, the mirror on the wall began to shake. I looked up, and I saw faces. The faces of the women in the box. Their eyes were red, their mouths moved without sound. Then one of them spoke. "Amelia, we were once like you. He took our souls for his wealth. Run before midnight comes." I screamed and ran to the door, but it was locked again. I hit it with all my strength, shouting, "Help! Somebody help me!" Raymond appeared at the doorway, wearing a white robe, holding a black pot with smoke rising from it. He smiled slowly and said, "It is time, Amelia. The gods want your soul. You are the seventh wife. After tonight, I will become a king." He began to chant words I didn't understand. The lights flickered. The air grew heavy. I fell to my knees and cried, "Jesus, save me! Save me from this evil!" At that moment, thunder struck again, and the black pot fell from his hands and broke. Fire burst from the ground. The spirits of the dead women screamed and surrounded him. He tried to run, but they pulled him into the fire. He vanished. The mansion shook like an earthquake. I ran out barefoot into the rain, crying and calling on God. That night, I never looked back. By morning, the mansion had burned to the ground. No one ever saw Raymond again. Some said the gods took him. Others said his own demons swallowed him. But I knew that God had saved me from a man who sold his soul for money. I went back to my small mud house. I was no longer ashamed of being poor. I was happy to be alive, because peace is better than gold bought with blood. Moral lessons. 1. Not all that glitters is gold. 2. Some rich people carry dark secrets. Never rush because of wealth. 3. A pure heart is better than a rich hand full of evil. 4. Marry with wisdom, not just dreams. 5. When life pushes you into darkness, call on God. He still saves. Thank you message to my viewers. Thank you, my lovely viewers, for watching this emotional story. If you felt the pain, the lesson, and the power in this story, please don't just scroll away. Click the subscribe button. Turn on your notification bell. Like, comment, and share this story. Your support keeps me going and helps me bring more deep, touching, and powerful stories your way. Stay with this channel for more life-changing stories every week. God bless you for being part of this family. See you in the next story. And remember, be content, be prayerful, and be wise.